Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So welcome everyone to this bootcamp for CISSP. I want a quick confirmation that you can all see my screen and that you can hear me. You can unmute yourself or send a message saying whether you can see my screen and hear me. Those two things are important.
Hi, Daniel.
I
Good
can
morning.
I can hear you.
You can see my
Uh,
Yeah,
screen also?
Yeah.
yes, I can.
I can
Fine,
see your
good,
screen
good.
and I can hear you clearly.
Wonderful. Now I request all
Right.
of you to mute yourselves,
Fine.
and once we go through this, we'll leave the forum open. I'll anticipate most of your questions and answer them. At the end of this, you will have a question answer session where I'll be happy to try and answer any questions that you may have. Is that good? Right. So let me start. So this is my name. My name is Daniel Mahanti, and these are some of the certifications in the field of IT that I have. And yeah, here's a little more about me. So this is what I look like, and these are the certifications again. I'm sure you must have seen all these certifications. I'm sure you know what CISSP is. CISA is Certified Information Systems Auditor. CRISC is Certified in Risk and Information Systems Control. CIA is Certified Internal Auditor. ISO 27001 is ISMS, Information System Security Management Systems, and ITIL. Uh, I am basically a banker who went into information system security. So I joined SBI more than 3 decades ago as a probationary officer. I worked initially in business lines, but at one point I had a chance posting as manager of the data processing cell of SBI in Bangalore zonal office. That is when I got interested in technology, and that's when I decided to do CISA. Of course, the position of manager of data processing cell was largely an administrative position. There were programmers who were doing the actual technical work. But I got interested in this and I did CISA. This coincided with the time when SBI's core banking solution was being very rapidly implemented, and security was a major concern because, until those of you who are not aware, the initial stages of bank computerization in India were LAN based, which means every branch was an independent unit which couldn't talk to the other units. When they went in for a core banking solution, it became a WAN based solution, and security was a concern, and it was at this point that SBI set up its information security department in Belapur in Navi Mumbai. And at that point of time, there were only a handful of CISA qualified officers in the bank, and they identified me and asked me if I'd like to go there to the information security department, which I did, and I joined them. We sort of set up the department, framed the policies, carried out many security reviews of different verticals. The way it works in SBI is for each vertical, whether it's core banking or ATM or internet banking or mobile banking, there is a one chief manager in charge of that. So I was in charge of ATM security, and we conducted reviews, etc. From SBI, I moved on to Axis Bank. I was an assistant vice president in the internal audit department of Axis Bank, an IT audit, and I carried out the same kind of work, IT audits of branches, of solutions in the bank, and even central processing cells, various setups, processes in the bank like change management, all these. And from Axis Bank, I moved on to a bank called Al Rajhi Bank in Saudi Arabia. It's a very large, the largest Islamic bank in the world, and a very big bank in that part of the world. Again, I was an IT audit. And during this period, I was all Al Rajhi Bank has a fully owned subsidiary in Malaysia. I was also sent to audit their data center in Kuala Lumpur. And I worked as head of internal audit or chief internal auditor of a medium-sized bank overseas. And now I don't work full time. I'm doing only training systems. So my expertise is in the areas of information system security, audit, internal controls, and things like that. I'm a freelance trainer for both CISSP and for CISA. I was an adjunct faculty for MIS at an American university overseas. And in the staff colleges of the banks in which I worked, I have done programs on training for information system security and also banking. for the staff of the bank. So this is a little about myself. I hope you have some idea about my background. If you wish to know more, you can check my profile on LinkedIn. If you go and type Daniel Mahanti, if you search, you'll find my profile on LinkedIn. Yeah. Now, the question which probably comes to your mind is, many institutions offer similar training. So, in what way is this institute different? I'll tell you what is on offer here. First of all, as I told you, I'm a freelance trainer for many organizations, Cybrary, Simplilearn, and some other institutions. If you go to the Cybrary website, if you click on this link, you'll find the last CISSP class which I took. The pre-recorded sessions are available there. Of course, you have to become a member. You have to enroll there. And the first session, I think, is available without payment. Subsequent sessions, you have to pay for it. But if you just want to have an idea, you can go take a look at it. Or this, in fact, I could probably show it to you. Let's see. Let me see if I can show it to you. One sec. Okay, sorry. See, this is the page. You'll see this. This is the CISSP page where my last session has posted. And I think the first episode is free. The others you have to pay for. But if you create an ID, you can see the first one for free. I also have a channel on YouTube. It's called Secure Learn, where there are several videos on different topics, and I intend to keep putting more and more videos there, and these are for free. Anybody can come and see this on different topics. Okay, now come back to this. So that gives you an idea. The most important thing for you is during the training, you should have a trainer you're comfortable with and a trainer who's able to explain things to your satisfaction. I have trained many batches for many institutions. Usually, most institutions, including Cybrary and Simplilearn, do it in 32 hours because there are 8 domains. They take about 4 hours on average per domain, and then it comes to 32 hours. But at the end of it, the feedback that I have got from most of the trainees is it was too rapid. They said the download was too rapid. We couldn't absorb so much in such a short period of time. Each domain, for example, some domains, the material runs into something like 300 or 400 pages. Compressing it into 4 hours is really difficult. So which is why here we decided to do it over 40 hours so that it is more relaxed. Another thing which we found is many institutes, most of you are working professionals and weekend is the only time you have, most of you have free. The result is in most institutes, it's done over some 4 days, 2 weekends, 8-hour sessions. Again, this 8 hours is too hectic and there is a limit to what you can assimilate in such a short period of time. So what we have decided is we are not going to cram it into 8-hour sessions. We will break it into 4-hour sessions and it will be 40 hours of training over 4-hour sessions. This means it will go on over 10 days or 5 weekends. That's how it will be, so that it is more relaxed. There is enough time for me to explain and for you to understand the concepts, and it is not all crammed into a very brief time. At the end of each topic and every session, there will be questions which are modeled on the same questions of the CISSP examination to test your understanding. For each group that we begin, we'll begin a group in WhatsApp for each batch, and both I and the institute will be members of that of that group, so that even after the program is over, we'll be available to guide you for until you write the exam and you clear the exam. Any doubts you have, we'll be there to answer. And I believe you'll be allowed to attend a couple of other sessions, the subsequent batches also. If you want a refresher while you're preparing, I think Hackers Institute will let you attend those subsequent sessions for free. They will also give you some material. I think soft copies of the popular books which are required to study will be provided. Okay, now let's go into the exam. Now this so far we have covered a little introduction to myself and how this training will be structured and how we have tried to structure it, learning from past experience in other institutes to make it better for you, because the ultimate objective is it has to benefit you and you should be able to pass the examination. Okay, now in this introduction, for the rest of it, what we are going to discuss is who has set up this exam? It has set up an institute called ISC Squire. It stands for International Information System Security Certification Consortium, which is why they call it ISC Squire. We'll learn about this. We'll learn about the CISSP certification. Why was it set up? What is the benefit of becoming a CISSP? And for people like you who are pretty young, and how it will benefit your careers and how it will add weight to your CV. We'll talk about the 8 domains of CISSP and the weight that each of them has in the exam. In my time, the exam used to run into 6 hours, which is really difficult because staying focused for 6 hours is very, very difficult. Luckily for you, in the last year, they have introduced what is called computerized adaptive testing, which means it's not a fixed length linear exam. There is the algorithm using a computer program. They have been able to reduce it from 6 hours to 3 hours. We'll learn about this also a little more. The a good thing is the you don't have to remain for 6 hours. In 3 hours the algorithm tests you. Nothing else has changed. The common body of knowledge or the syllabus has not changed. The difficulty level of the exam has not changed. Only the duration has been made more manageable. We'll cover tips on how to prepare for the exam and pass the exam. Once you pass the exam, how do you get certified and what are continuing professional education hours? We will go into all this in this introduction. Okay, now why was ISC Squire set up and why did they come up with CISSP? This was done pursuant to a demand from industry. Until the mid 1980s, there was no standard vendor neutral certification for security. It depended on each platform, it depended on each technology they were using, which means that somebody who has learned how to do something in Windows is not of much help when it comes to Linux or Unix. So in the 1980s, in the mid 80s, there was a demand from industry that please come up with a standardized vendor neutral information security program which will demonstrate competence and global acceptance. They wanted something which would be accepted across the globe and across industries. This was the demand. Come up with something standardized which will be accepted all over the world and across industries. It doesn't matter whether you're in a bank, whether you're in a hotel, whether you're in the military. Come up with something standardized for information system security. That is how ISC Squire was set up. So in 1988, a group called the Special Interest Group for Computer Security was set up by professional organizations. The objective was to create a global information security certification process with standardized curriculum. So 1989, ISC Square was formed. They set about preparing the common body of knowledge. The common body of knowledge is the material on which the exam is based. You could compare it loosely to syllabus. But please remember one thing. It's not like college where you got a textbook and anything out of that was considered out of portion. It's not like that here. It covers the entire gamut of IT and you could be asked any question on IT. So ISC Squire began preparing the common body of knowledge, and they are committed also to not just to educating security professionals, but even the general public. They have a Center for Cyber Security and Education. Now come to CISSP. So as we saw, it was set up in 1989. They prepared the common body of knowledge, the exam format and all that. And it was introduced, CISSP was introduced in 1994. It has now gained worldwide acceptance as the gold standard for information system security. Now, don't take my word for it. If you go to a job portal in any part of the world, be it India, be it Europe, be it North America, be it the Gulf, go and type CISSP in the search box and you'll see for yourself how many matches are produced. So this is what they wanted. They wanted something accepted across the globe, regardless of which industry you're in. Now, CISSP, when you have the certification, many people who are already working in security come to me and say, we need the certification, but because when we talk to clients, when we talk to vendors, we want to be able to speak the same language. We want them to have the assurance that we follow the same standards of information system security, which are adopted the world over. So which is what this certification does. As of December 2018, the world over, there were 131,180 CISSP certification holders spread out over 171 countries. Interestingly, the largest bulk of CISSP holders is in the United States at 84,557. More than half the CISSP professionals all over the world are in the United States. It is also a certification recognized by several US government agencies and other government agencies in different parts of the world. Okay. Now you might ask, how will it help me? Why should I become a CISSP? Now, in this slide, I'm going to try to answer that. The truth of the matter is, it's not just in India, but all over the world, there's an acute shortage of qualified information systems security professionals. If you follow these links which I have given, you'll see the articles for yourself. NASSCOM has predicted that there'll be a shortage of 1 million security professionals in India in 2025. Forbes has done an international survey where they asked business leaders that which is the largest skill gap that you are facing. The answer has been cybersecurity. This is one place where we are not getting enough qualified professionals. A study by Enterprise Strategy Group also gave a similar outcome. IBM's survey is actually even more alarming. They say India already has a shortage of 3 million security professionals. So if you have an interest in information security and you're trying to figure out, I guess most of you are in your 30s or so, you're put in some years of service in industry. Now you're trying to figure out where you want to grow your career. So information system security is something you should seriously consider. Now, the next question is, why is everybody so concerned about security? The answer is, today everything runs on IT. Be it a bank, be it a hotel, be it an airline, be it a hospital, be it the military, even warfare is done on the basis of computer systems. You know, you might have read about what is called the Stuxnet virus worm. Did you read about Stuxnet? If you go to YouTube, you'll find an interesting video on that. Stuxnet was an attempt or a successful attempt to cause the Iranian nuclear reactors to fail so that the nuclear program would be affected. And it is widely believed that Stuxnet was created by the Central Intelligence Agency and by Israeli intelligence. So cybersecurity has now extended into warfare. The next level of warfare is cyber warfare. So this is why security is such a huge breach. I just picked up a few recent major things which came out. WannaCry, if you recall, it crippled ransomware crippled thousands of targets. The UK's National Health Service was so badly affected that they weren't able to carry out some surgeries. Last year, Equifax, which is a rating agency, lost 145 million details of customers. Deloitte is one of the big four accountancy firms which specializes in giving cybersecurity advice to their clients. Their own admin email account was hacked, and it was found that even the admin email account did not have two-factor authentication. 3 or 4 years ago, Target, which is one of the large retailers in the United States, I think it's the second largest after Walmart, they had a major compromise. They lost 120 million customer card details. This is not just details, it is card details, the payment card details. Serious consequences. CEO lost his job, CISO lost his job. The company faced $1 million suits for damages and regulatory action. There's a group called shadow brokers. I told you that cyber warfare is the next level of warfare. So the US National Security Agency has developed cyber warfare tools. WannaCry was a tool developed by the National Security Agency. Unfortunately, they were not able to secure the cyber warfare tools. These tools were stolen by shadowy organizations and they're sold on the darknet. Shadow brokers released these on the darknet. Last year, there was an attack on an Indian bank. I think it was Union Bank of India. there was an attack on SWIFT. For those of you who are not familiar with banking, Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication is the medium used by banks to transfer funds from each other. So their SWIFT account was hacked, and $171 million was taken out of their banks in a matter of a few hours. Luckily, both the bank and the Reserve Bank of India responded quickly and the money was recovered. But a similar attack which happened on Bangladesh's central bank, the money could not be recovered. So all these are the reasons why everybody, the whole world, is now concerned about cybersecurity, why there's so much demand for cybersecurity, and why this is a good opportunity for you to move into this area. Yeah. Now, let me tell you a little about myself, how this will add value. As I told you, most of you began your career in IT. I did not. I began my career in banking. I was in business lines initially. But when I did this CISA, CISSP and all, I have been headhunted for InfoSec openings in industries as diverse as banking. But for example, even Hackers Institute, Rekha did a search on Naukri or on LinkedIn and found me and got in touch with me. Even now, I get queries from places like Gulf Jobs and Gulf Banks, many international search portals, because the first search they do is a keyword search. They are looking for people who have these certifications, and they send me mails and ask me whether I would like to appear for a job interview in those countries. Now, if I mean, imagine the amount of value that this can add to people like you who have probably a much sounder background in technology, who are much younger, and who are prepared to travel overseas to work, which I'm not prepared to do at this point of time. I'm comfortable staying here. So this is how it will add value